Hello and welcome to all the lovely people out there watching this video. You are most welcome to Tutorials Point. Well, in this video, we are going to learn about, yes, you read it right, we are going to learn about the most overused phrases. Now, why do we need to learn about it? Of course, we do not want to sound boring. Do you want to sound boring? Do you want to sound so repetitive time and again that whoever is listening to you would actually associate you with a particular name? Well, definitely not. And once that you are aware of these phrases, next time you can, definitely take cognizance of probably using an alternative rather that particular phrase time and again. Isn't it a good idea to learn about them? Yes, it is. I know you are saying yes. So without further delay, let's just go ahead and learn about them. Okay, now the first most overused phrases at the end of the day. Yes, we use it day in, day out. We use it way too much to an extent that it actually ends up making your language very, very boring. Now, what does it actually mean? Of course, we know what it means, right? So everything taken into consideration or ultimately or eventually or in then, this is what is, this is what it means. Now, of course, now that you are aware that these are the various alternatives, so don't you think it is a good idea to use them instead of saying this time and again at the end of the day? So next time you have to say at the end of the day, probably you can say taking everything into consideration or eventually or, everything considered, right? So these are certain words or phrases which you can use instead of at the end of the day. So once that you know about it, it definitely is a good idea to change, the verbatim of your language in order to upgrade it. And aren't we all on this mission of upgrading a language? Yes, we are. Let's go ahead and see which is the second most overused phrase. Okay, yes, that is right. It's fairly unique. Now, something that is unique could probably be something that is unparalleled or remarkable or, something that is very, very different, right? So something which is completely unmatched. So now that you know that fairly unique actually means something that is probably remarkable, special, noteworthy, notable, outstanding, extraordinary. Of course, it is an extraordinary idea not to use fairly unique all the time. So we can definitely replace fairly unique in our language with probably remarkable, special, noteworthy, unparalleled, or any word which you feel kind of just fits the context. And not just that, every time that you are making use of it, you definitely can use different words rather than just sticking to one of it, right? So doing this definitely helps you to polish your communication skills and helps you to upgrade the level of your language. Okay, now how about this? With all due respect, yes, there are many situations in our life wherein we want to completely disagree with someone, but we cannot be as curt. And what do we end up doing? We end up saying this: with all due respect, I don't agree with you, right? So you are initially applying a lot of, you're nicely polishing it and glossing it, and in the end you are disagreeing. Well, there is no doubt that you need to use this phrase during the situations wherein you want to be politically correct, or probably you want to be slightly diplomatic in the way that you are handling it. But we definitely don't want to, kind of make it repetitive, right? We don't want it to become a monotony, right? So how do you, what do we replace it with? So used to express polite, we all aware, right? It is used to express a polite disagreement. Well, I completely understand your point, but in my opinion, or in in the most humble opinion, I want to present, or I want to say that I think that there is a different alternative to this, right? So depending upon whatever is the conversation that is going on, you can change, or probably you can tweak this particular phrase, and I mean, whatever, you obviously want to disagree, right? So you can disagree, but not using this again and again, right? Because see, the moment you use it, obviously the other person knows what is coming his or her way, right? So next time you want to disagree, probably you might want to put it forward. Well, I understand what you are saying, but in my opinion, this could be a better alternative, right? So, or whatever is the conversation that is going on around. Okay, how about this nightmare? Yes, that's very right. Nightmare is again kind of a very, very overused and a tried phrase. Now, we know what nightmare is, right? We know it is a frightening or an unpleasant dream or a situation or something that you just dreamt of, and it disturbs you, right? So now you are aware what it means. So once you are aware what it means, it is definitely a good idea that instead of using it again and again, you replace it with probably one of its synonyms, as you know what they are, right? So and basis the context that is going on, you might want to replace it, you might want to change it, and kind of present whatever you are saying, instead of making your language very dull and boring and using it again and again. Okay, yes, that is right. 24/7 again is way too used, and it's way too kind of boring to hear it again and again. Yes, 24/7. Well, 24/7, 24/7, we all know what is 24/7. So if you are using it, if you happen to use it, not that you want to completely snap it off from your language, but just that you can replace it. So probably one sentence you said this, maybe after 2 to 3 lines you might want to use some other word. Probably you might want to use every time, or all the time, or any time during the day, or be it whatever time of the day I am available for you. So maybe you are now replacing this and making your language sound less boring. Yes, that's right. Okay, how about this? It's not a big deal. Well, it's not a big deal, but yes, it is a big deal to upgrade your language. Yes, it is. And because it is a big deal, don't you think it is a good idea that you upgrade your vocabulary and you upgrade the way in which you are speaking by getting it into use? So here, it's not a big deal. What does it mean? We all know what it means, right? So it's not a rocket science, or it's not as tough as it seems, or it's not something out of the world, or it's not something that can't be achieved. That is what you're trying to say. So instead of saying this, you can replace it with so many different alternatives. There are so many of them present for you, right? So now that you're aware what are the most commonly used phrases, or the most overused or dull and boring phrases, you can definitely replace them with something interesting that you've learned in this video. So friends, we'll see you again in the next video. Till that time, keep learning with Tutorials Point and Tutorix. Have a good day.